it would appear the final cookie has crumbled in the Metal Days drama jar, and lo and behold, everything that I said would happen has now come true. For those unaware of the money sink pit plagued Metal Days festival and its Humpty Dumpty dipshit of an organizer Little Bo Prick, this video is going to cover everything in detail, but to quickly catch you up to speed here, Little Bo Prick owned Metal Days. He was a dick. Everyone knew it. He refused refunds for canceled editions of Metal Days for several years while funneling money to a new business. I made a video calling it out. He said I was lying. I wasn't. Metal Days canceled for 2024 to focus on next year's edition. I said they'd go under completely soon. They just did, and now I laugh. Many people might not know this yet since it wasn't exactly widely shared. They deleted their Facebook and Instagram before this official announcement. But go on Metal Days' official website right now and you'll see a long, probably AI-generated gaslighting statement declaring that Metal Days is officially DEAD dead. And their official declaration of surrender here is just as full of bullshit as you've come to expect. So grab a drink and some popcorn or a joint and let's eviscerate this deflecting fuckery. So headbang the like button, stage dive onto the subscribe button, and windmill the video to your friends. If you're a fan of the channel and you'd like to show your support, consider becoming a member. Memberships are only 99 cents a month, and every one really helps me toward my goal of creating a life-size Godzilla to invade Canada. And with that said, let's laugh at the fall of Metal Days. Now, this gaslighting diatribe is about 5 pages long, and I am not gonna go over the whole thing in this video because that would make this take 3 hours. So I'm going to cover what I think are the main highlights here in this video, but if you would like to see me go through the entire thing word for word, you can find that on my latest podcast episode that I will link here. But let me give you the Cliff Notes version. The end. Quote, with this statement, we would like to inform you that the decision has been made to not organize another Metal Days edition. We want to extend a huge thank you and heartfelt appreciation to all the artists, partners, media, good people of Tolman and Villain, and staff who have been loyal to Metal Days. Yeah, try asking any of those people what they think of you. And to you, our fans, Metal Days wouldn't have existed without you. Clearly, since you don't exist anymore. We feel incredibly privileged that so many of you chose to party with us each summer. We are proud to have created a second family for many visitors. Yes, and you can find that second family in the comment sections of any of your posts on social media, saying what complete scumbags you are. So that part is true. Seeing your happy faces year after year filled our hearts with joy and our wallets with your cash. Jumping forward a little bit, we offered our company and brand to all major players. Live Inflation, Festival Republic, Superstruct Entertainment, and even approached many major festivals to take us over to fulfill all our obligations that remained unfulfilled due to these reasons. Regrettably, despite our best efforts, this did not happen, and it is just not economically feasible to continue. Why would that not happen? Why would major companies like Live Inflation, who run all kinds of festivals, big and small, all over the world, why would they not want to take on, quote, the finest metal festival on the planet? Could it be because the name is tainted so severely at this point that people are starting to be able to sniff out your bullshit? I, for one, would want to ask any of these companies or major festivals, why exactly did you turn down the offer to buy Metal Days? I'm just curious. We don't want to pretend that everything was great. About time. We can't ignore the infamous refund situation sparked by COVID-19 related cancellations, nor can we overlook the unpaid artists and partners affected by the 2023 cancellation due to flooding. Which they have to say now, because when it's all the fans complaining in the comments for years, you can just ignore them and gaslight them and delete their comments. But when it's artists and partners with money involved that keep you afloat, no, you can't overlook that. But we also can't let lies about us spread without presenting the truth. It's our moral duty. I guarantee you that Little Bo Prick and his wife do not know what those words mean. This is how you know this was written by an AI, because they're not even capable of conceiving of these words together in a sentence. Here's our honest take on these matters. Oh boy. Trust us, this is the truth. Alright, Little Bo, let's hear your quote, the truth, unquote. When they declared the global pandemic and the first lockdown began, we had already sold 10,200 tickets for Metal Days 2020. We believe the lockdown would not last long, and because of that, we didn't change anything regarding our regular expenses. Our judgment was wrong, and it was a mistake to continue our business affairs as if nothing had happened. Despite having sold over 10,000 tickets for Metal Days 2020, we had no savings. Metal Days is an independent festival with a very delicate cash flow. Because Metal Days is so personal to the organizers, it often led to overspending to ensure everything was perfect and to delight visitors. Sure it was. In the following years, the festival grew and became profitable, allowing us to recover from the losses of the first edition. We have reinvested the profits from Metal Days into our other festivals: Winter Days of Metal, Headbangers Holiday, Bluesland, Overjam Reggae, and Punk Rock Holiday from 2013 to 2016. Consequently, we had no savings when COVID-19 struck. This was not very prudent from a business perspective, but was done with enthusiasm. It's something we would approach differently now. Who could have imagined that a global pandemic would force us to stay home and be unable to work? Lessons learned. Did you also learn the lesson that if you have a festival that's just barely profitable and doesn't have any savings, that you should probably not invest into multiple other festivals? By the end of 2021, we were already in a pretty bad position financially. Oh, were you now? What interesting timing that is. End of 2021. Because I happen to know and have the receipts for Little Bo Prick here making the decision in mid-2021 to uproot him and his wife from Slovenia to Zanzibar. And that's when they registered their new businesses there that they were investing money to not only set up, but to build entirely. Is that why you were already in a pretty bad position financially by the end of 2021? Instead of declaring bankruptcy at the time, we took a private loan to be able to survive as a company and to slowly return requested refunds. But I don't understand why you would need to consider even declaring for bankruptcy at all, or taking out a private loan to survive as a company when you were at the same time building a multi-million-dollar business in Zanzibar and promoting it on your social media. The green light for the festival season came really late in 2022. At that time, we had already used all the loan funds for refunds and to keep the business alive while you were building your Zanzibar location, which you live at right now, by the way. Without a ticket price increase and with all the unexpected price rises, we kept pushing back the refund, creating a bad vibe going into an already sensitive festival edition. It wasn't just you pushing back the refunds over and over again. It was you gaslighting and attacking people publicly when they would very rationally ask you for updates about the refunds. The pre-sale for 2023 was good, even though we didn't announce the new venue, and with that money, we were able to cover all expenses from 2022. Really? Because the town of Tolman said that you still owe them 20,000 euros for 2022. That maybe sounds like some expenses that weren't covered to me, but I don't know, I'm not a doctor. However, we were not able to pay back the refunds. And let's jump ahead a little bit more. After every Metal Days edition, we expressed our gratitude to all oh, this part's fucking hilarious. Trigger warning to any victims of emotional abuse, because this might feel pretty familiar. After every Metal Days edition, we expressed our gratitude to all crew members and asked if we could count on them for the upcoming edition. This time was no different. On August 12th, 2022, via email, as if that matters, we thanked Kurt Bettigelli, I probably pronounced that wrong, one of the Tolminator promoters, for his work on the Metal Days 2022 second stage, and asked if the whole second stage team would be interested in joining us again in 2023 at the new location, which would be announced in December 2022. However, we never received a response. Dun dun dun. Little did we know that at that time, they had their event planned extensively, which was strange considering we had shared drinks and laughs just a few days ago on Metal Days 2022. You mean at your job site? So you mean you interacted with a third-party contractor at your job location, and then they decided to move on after the job was over. The Tolminator Festival introduction they sent out to booking agents was written as if we were staying at Sotka with a different event, so agents started offering offering us their bands for our new event in Tolman. This was unplanned, and that's when the organized fabrication of lies about us began. Organized, okay. The frustration about non-refunded tickets started in the summer of 2021. Visitors kept addressing this on our social media channels, and we had already posted a few official statements regarding the issue. Turning the page. Since they never organized an event with their own money and didn't know how to promote an event that didn't sell, Tolminator did pretty fine in its first year. I don't think it did, particularly amazing, but it wasn't a bomb by any means. Kurt Battigelli and Matej Allen, I apologize for saying that wrong, now the promoters of Tolminator, decided to create bad publicity for Metal Days, creating conflict within the community, because there was no conflict within the Metal Days community at all before Tolminator was even conceived of. Not at all. The goal was to save their event by making a portion of our visitors decide to go there instead of Metal Days. I implore you, Bobain, Boba, Little Bo Prick, to find the official Tolminator post that says to go create bad publicity for the Metal Days team and to attack them because they're bad and mean for being meanies. Where is that flyer? Where is that advertisement? Actually, the truth is, the first year Tolminator started, most people didn't even know about it. I didn't know about it. I thought metal was completely gone from Tolman until a buddy messaged me saying, dude, imagine a small metal festival in Tolman in the same location without Little Bo Prick. And I was like, what? No way, that can't be possible. And lo and behold, I saw a tiny little festival just sitting in the corner not bugging any called Tolminator that just wanted to have fun and be left alone in the corner. And I know that Little Bo Prick put every effort into gaslighting and threatening Metal Days business partners to completely avoid Tolminator. He told press he wouldn't work with them if they worked with Tolminator. He told bands they couldn't play Metal Days if they played Tolminator. But back to it. Quote, if one puts enough blood, sweat, and tears into a new festival, it will find its visitors. It takes time, but eventually it will happen. There is no shortcut to that. Unless you happen to forge documents so that you can take over the company and shut it down and start your own company called Metal Days. That's a shortcut you could do. Anyway, being passionate about your own festival is crucial, but deliberately going after the festival that gave you all the relevance you have and targeting the people you shared drinks and laughed with just a few days ago, making it that personal, is not only cowardly, but also pathologically ill. All psychotic, pathologically lying sociopaths will always accuse others of doing what they are doing. Anyone who has even this slightest affiliation with Little Bo Prick at all, if you've been to Metal Days once, if you've been on Metal Days' Facebook page once, you will know that he is very much a pathological liar. Also, I repeat, to find the Tolminator post that directly goes after Metal Days or the people involved with it, I dare you. The truth is, and I know this from chatting with the Tolminator promoter a bit, is that they did have to put blood, sweat, and tears into even getting the chance to host Tolminator in the first place, because of how much bad publicity that Metal Days had brought down on it. The town of Tolman really did not want to allow any more festivals at all after giving Metal Days the boot. And Tolminator had to do their best to convince the officials that they would not do anything wrong by them at all. They would listen to every single means and matter that they needed, that they were not affiliated with Little Bo Prick and his shittery. They collaborated with various internet trolls. That sounds like a great business tactic that'll totally work, including Slovenian journalist Mitaj Burt, who is their friend, to generate negative publicity for Metal Days and us personally. What was that negative publicity that the journalist just happened to stew up? What were the details? Was it about how you weren't paying fans back and that you weren't paying the city of Tolman? Was that the negative publicity? Could you give us any details, please? Sadly, we now live in a time where one is considered guilty until proven innocent. As a result, we were publicly found guilty of something we haven't done. You were publicly found guilty long before that. But one is only guilty if found guilty in a real court, not the court of public opinion. It's hard to believe that a newspaper like Dello can publish such articles that are based on no evidence at all, even though the article in question did provide plenty of evidence. Even harder to believe that editor-in-chief Bohan Buddha, Again, I probably said that wrong. my bad, would approve it. In all honesty, we are still amazed that we're that popular. Yeah, because that's something a totally innocent person says, like, oh, we can't believe they just happened to be talking about us. Wars nearby, refugees, food insecurities, financial, living, and energy crises, and we get the double page in a major Slovenian newspaper. Not once, but twice. You can't make that up. Interesting thing here, you're claiming that a journalist for a major newspaper just published complete defamating lies against you and your company, and you aren't suing them? Which is strange because in your last Facebook post you made, before you deleted that profile of course, you specifically said that you were going to sue this newspaper and this journalist. Whatever became of that? COVID-19, subsequent lockdowns, and an economic downturn made it impossible to organize the festival without raising ticket prices for the 2023 edition. Any mention yet of your Zanzibar location that you paid a bunch of money to build? Any at all? Any reference to that? Unfortunately, this didn't sit well with many visitors. This, along with moving to the new location, the frustration caused by not fulfilling the refund promise, and the production-wise not-so-good 2022 edition, resulted in sales similar to our first edition. To create the best possible festival experience for our visitors at our new location, we decided to allocate more money to the lineup than usual. While we can confidently say that Metal Days lineup of 2023 was one of the best of that summer, we now realize that this wasn't the wisest decision. Would that be because you didn't pay a bunch of the bands? We forgot that Metal Days isn't about the lineup. It's about the metal family feeling that was lost. But we were too ignorant to understand that. Despite the excessive spending, the 2023 festival would not have incurred such a loss if it weren't for the flooding. And you know, you bought a whole bunch of fucking VIP shit that nobody wanted. You spent a bunch of money on glamping huts that looked like concentration camp beds. You got a whole bunch of fancy, shiny VIP activities you were promoting on social media while you were not refunding people. That was all before any flooding happened. But right now I'm gonna skip ahead to the really fun part. Every allegation that we are scammers who misappropriated visitors' money for high-end tourism on a paradise island is false. And only a fool would believe it just because a wannabe metal influencer said it on the internet. Look at it say. If what you are saying was true, boo-boo, then only a fool would let a successful metal festival crumble because of a wannabe metal influencer who was making up accusations against you. I would think a successful festival would be able to come out and go, hey, that influencer is full of shit, here's why it's not true, and if they keep saying these things, then we're going to sue them. But that's not quite what happened, is it? I would just like to point out that people aren't just believing it because some wannabe metal influencer said so. They are saying so because I made several detailed videos showing evidence from you. I got videos with receipts of you setting up Purple Heart. I've got the receipts of you announcing to your friends that you were moving to Zanzibar to set up a business. I've got the receipts from your websites where you were going to host a retreat that cost over 2,000 euros to join that you never did. I've got all of your statements that you've made that you've since deleted and then lied about what you said before. Also, something else that's really funny is that live right now, in real time, Bob Bain's wife's website, which is still active, you can go to it right now, clearly says that she started Heavy Harmony in 2023, a retreat in Zanzibar. This is live right now. It's not just because some metal fool told a whimsical story around the campfire. I have done something that you have never done, which is provide evidence. Anyone who thinks we would destroy the product of our hard work and dedication for the reasons stated in those false accusations is simply naive. You didn't destroy it because of false accusations. You destroyed it because you're a retarded sociopath who would lie up until the very last breath. To New Forces promoters and bands, by the way, we wish to thank you for your unwavering support of Metal Days until the very last day. Yeah, not exactly what happened. So, New Forces was a competition that Metal Days was doing that would give unsigned bands the opportunity to play at Metal Days in 2024, and then when they canceled Metal Days 2024, they said that those bands would be able to play in 2025, and those bands were booked, confirmed for sure. You're gonna play Metal Days 2025. Oh, and would you look at that? Look at what what happened. Oh, Metal Days. Metal Days is gone now. Oh. We wish to thank you for your unwavering support of Metal Days until the very last day. I'm sure they do not feel the same. We're not looking for excuses. That's why we wrote 4 pages of excuses gaslighting other people. Our goal is to present the last 4 Metal Days years and all significant events as they truly happened. Well, you didn't. We made mistakes that, even though they occurred during unprecedented times, should not have been made by promoters with our level of expertise. Like, I would say, building a multi-million-dollar construction site in Zanzibar to start a new business that you're funneling all the refund money to. 4 out of 5 doctors recommend not doing that. We are sorry for refunds not returned, unpaid bans, and unsettled production expenses more than you can imagine. We now know what we could and should have done differently. Not fucked with the savior of metal. In the end, it's up to you to decide whom to believe. We will respect your decision, whichever side you pick, because we are at peace knowing we aren't scammers who plotted to steal visitors' money. Then where's the money? The money is such a small fraction of what was owed, and you had more than enough to cover that. Where is that money? Why weren't the bands paid? If you were telling the truth and just made a couple of unwise business decisions, how would a quote wannabe metal influencer be able to bring down your entire festival? If this was a serious company that just happened to make a couple of unfortunate business mistakes over the years, you would not allow a YouTuber that was making quote defamation against you to destroy your company. You would sue them, but you haven't, because you can't, because you know I have all the receipts. As this is the last public statement we will make regarding Metal Days, it was important to put the truth out there. The truth that they've altered and deleted multiple times. This is the final goodbye to Metal Days. For us, Metal Days is a thing of the past, a beautiful memory. When we return, it will be with something new, exciting, and capable of setting a new trend. And most importantly, funds must be available before the first ticket is sold. Until then, we wish you nothing but the best. No refunds, but the best. We are at peace in our hearts, and we wish nothing less to all Metal Days supporters, all 3 that are left. Well, that's certainly a plot hole filled narrative that one could choose to believe, I guess. But allow me to tell you my side of the tale, which many of you already know since I've made several videos on it at this point, which I've gathered together in a playlist called the Metal Days Files if anyone wants to go through all the receipts. But for those unfamiliar, let me give you a quick recap through my lens. I attended the last Metal Camp by name in 2012 and the first Metal Days in 2013. It was fun, great times with friends, splashing through heavy metal paradise. I haven't returned since then, but I followed the festival through social media, and many of my friends continued to go throughout the years. And throughout those years, all of us were well aware of what an asshole the owner Little Bo Prick is, frequently getting into arguments and acting like a snod prick to fans in his comment sections. But everyone put up with his immature bullshit because the festival's location was just so awesome. In 2020 and 2021, Metal Days was canceled due to someone sneezing somewhere, I guess. I didn't have tickets, but a lot of my friends did, and throughout 2020, they politely asked about refunds and never heard back. In 2021, Metal Days made their first public statement on the matter, where they claimed to be a small independent festival run by 2 humble people just trying their best to survive. And legally, they didn't have to refund anyone, but they had decided to just out of the kindness of their heart. But unbeknownst to most Metal Days fans, at this exact same time, as the world was shut down and this humble little festival was just barely scraping by, its 2 owners had set up in motion plans to move to Zanzibar and to build from the ground up a fancy vegan day spa resort shithole thing. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but constructing a business from scratch is just a little bit expensive. I dare say it costs way fucking more than how much the refunds were worth. This information wasn't shared by Metal Days pages, so most people didn't know about it, but it was shared repeatedly by Little Bo Prick and his wife on their personal Facebook pages. They had a website showing their plans and what services they'd offer, and at the bottom of that now defunct website, it clearly stated that this luxury spa was owned by Metal Days. Throughout 2022, Metal Days prepared their final edition to be held in Tolman, while continuing to build their Zanzibar business, while arguing with fans in comment sections saying they were too broke to refund anyone and to quit complaining. They stated in 2022 that 70% of refunds had been returned already, and the other 30% would be fulfilled by the end of the year. And that Wasn't true at all. A small handful of people did get refunds here and there, but it certainly was not the majority. At this point, me and my friends knew full well the truth of the situation, and I'd already seen and screenshotted everything about their plans, just in case. In 2023, Metal Days finally moved out of Tolman, which had been discussed for years, and all of us thought that it was solely because the city decided to build a road right through where the festival was located. Metal Days announced their new location in Lake Vilaine, and everyone thought it was shit. All the metalheads, including myself, believed metal was no more in Tolman, and our paradise was gone. Then one day, a friend messaged me saying, "Dude, imagine Metal Camp how it was in the same location on the lake without Bobon." And he sent me the flyer for the first ever edition of Tolminator. That's how I found out about it, and I was very excited. And I also wondered why no one seemed to know about it. Everyone I knew was bummed that metal would no longer be taking place in Tolman. I'd started my channel by this time and had done festival highlight videos breaking down for people where festivals are, what they're like, and how to attend them. So of course I decided to make a video on Tolminator so more people would become aware of it, and after I'd made the video and posted it, the Tolminator team did message me saying they really appreciated me shouting them out. At this time, Tolminator did not have any official footage to use since the festival hadn't happened yet, so I figured in my video that I would use clips of Metal Days to show people the location and the general idea. I did use some clips from Metal Days' official videos, which is totally legal under fair use laws that allow you to use copyrighted content if you alter it in some way. I have done that in all of my videos, and damn near every single YouTuber that you watch also does as well. It is 1000% normal and legal. So I make the video, post it, go to bed. When I wake up, I have an email from Little Bo Prick, which immediately made me laugh because clearly I was familiar with his ways. "Dear Wyatt," that's me. "We have come to your attention on your video on YT, in which you use videos and photos of Metal Days Festival without permission. We must warn you that Metal Days is a protected brand, and all and any intellectual property cannot be used without permission. Therefore, I kindly ask you to remove the video from YT. In case you don't do that, we will take legal steps and ask for compensation. We warned YT about this. We also added the law firm representing us to this email. We expect you to take the video off YT in the next 24 hours. If this does not happen, we will demand it through legal means. Best regards, Bo." I knew goddamn well that he had no legal standing and was full of hot air, so I responded with, "Bobain, that's him. There are no photos that are copyrighted by Metal Days in the video. There weren't. It was all video clips. The video clips that use Metal Days promo videos have been altered by me by their speed, placement, and by me giving my commentary over them to illustrate a separate point unrelated to Metal Days. YouTube's policy on fair use states, fair use is a legal doctrine that says use of copyright-protected material under certain circumstances is allowed without permission from the copyright holder. Courts typically focus on whether the use of copyright-protected material is transformative. This means whether the use adds new expression or meaning to the original material, or whether it merely copies from the original work. In the United States, works of commentary, criticism, research, teaching, or news reporting may be considered fair use. In the EU, more limited exceptions are recognized, and the use must fit into specific categories, such as quotation, criticism, review, caricature, parody, and pastiche. Other countries/regions have a concept called fair dealing that may work differently. Due to YouTube's policy, I believe the video is 100% legal and falls under fair use. The video also does not currently have a copyright strike or warning on it from YouTube, which is how these concerns are usually addressed. I spoke with representatives at YouTube who said there's been no report, which is true. At the time that Bobain sent me this email and said that they warned YT about this, the video did not have a copyright claim nor a copyright strike. There was no notice on it. And when I contacted YouTube support and asked them about it, they said they had nothing on record. I even ended the email saying, "If you can show me where in the law it states the video doesn't meet the requirements for fair use, I will happily take down the video." I literally explained to him how to report my channel, but I responded in a pretty respectful and professional way while standing my ground. And what did he do? He didn't respond at all, but he did copyright strike my video. And it was at that moment that I thought to myself, "Alrighty then. I tried being nice and hadn't mentioned anything negative about Metal Days on my channel at all, but perhaps it was time for more people to become aware of the ridiculous refund situation and Little Bo Prick scumbaggery. So I made my first video revealing the refunds in Zanzibar. The next morning I wake up to find Bo Prick commented on the video using the official Metal Days YouTube channel with a whole bunch of lies and attempts to shit talk me. And what followed was a hilarious thread where he embarrassed the shit out of himself, so much to where he eventually went back and deleted all the comments. But here they are.
You illegally used others' intellectual property. You were warned by the trademark owner and YouTube took down your video. If everything you did is legal, contact YouTube and ask them to put your video back on the platform. It's one thing to use intellectual property without permission, but it's quite another to use it to promote a competitive event. In this way, you cause direct damage and your actions automatically become legal. You invested a lot of time in the production of this film, but apart from a bunch of untruths, not lies, untruths, you didn't say much. But you did one thing. You showed you are an immature person. You were hurt because YouTube took down your movie. It was a movie, which was made from material not belonging to you in the first place. Only an immature person would insult another person on a personal level, because Bob Ain has never done that. Ever. For those who don't know yet, and you missed it in your investigation, although the information is public, Metal Days moved to another location because the festival for 12,000 people cannot be staged at the old location. The maximum capacity is 5,000. We didn't leave because we wanted to, but because there was no place for us there. The refund situation that he wants to sum up in literally one sentence and does not mention again. The refund situation is explained on our website. Last but not least, thanks for the promotion of the Metal Days Festival. We wish you all the best, because I'm sure anybody who watched my videos like, kind of want to go there now. That seems awesome. One of my official responses was explaining the video, how what I did is fully legal. Guess you skipped that part. You destroyed Metal Days, nobody else. Not a single word of what I said isn't true and can be confirmed by anybody whose feelings were hurt if you took the time to write such a pathetic comment. You left Tolman because locals hated working with you. Pay back the fans you ripped off, you stupid asshole. Metal Days' response was, so you're actually claiming that YouTube illegally removed your video? I'm claiming you abused the copyright strike system, yes. Also, pay back your goddamn fans. You can say whatever, deflect in any way you want, but until everyone who requested a refund is paid back in full, the entire metal world is gonna know what a slimeball you are. Your initial video was not about refunds. You weren't the savior of metal back then.
For those who didn't know, that is the true story of how I gained the moniker of Savior of Metal.
By promoting a competing event with our video material. YouTube removed your video like a small child, offended, made another video in which you want to present yourself as the victim of the evil Metal Days. What a time to be alive. And I responded with, pay back your fans. We do. Stop pretending you care. You just want attention.
After that, Metal Days kept promoting their embarrassing 2023 edition, which barely sold at all, and they used some scummy tactics to try to boost their numbers. For people who had argued for a refund for years at this point, Metal Days sent free tickets to Metal Days 2023, where they claim that if you can't attend, tickets are in high demand this year, so just sell it yourself and you could get more money, which they now admit wasn't true. Around this period in 2023, the Tolminator promoter messaged me saying that he really enjoyed my video outing Metal Days and was glad to hear someone finally talk about that situation. And out of gratitude, he offered my band Dark Insanity a slot on the 2024 edition, which was pretty unbelievable to me and blew the minds of me and my band. I was not approached beforehand from Tolminator with them going, hey, we have this scheme to promote our festival. We want you to make a video on your channel of 500 subscribers at the time saying Metal Days is ripping people off. And if you do it, we'll reward you by letting your underground, unsigned band that didn't even have any music out at the time perform at our festival. It's a perfect scheme. I made those videos completely on my own volition, thank you very much. I don't need a leader to scheme with. I am the dictator of this channel. There was no offer to play Tolminator when I made those videos exposing Metal Days. That came later as a thank you for one, getting the word out about Tolminator, and two, for bringing bringing the scumbag tactics of Bobbane to the attention of an audience, which, by the way, every piece of evidence I showed in all of my videos about Metal Days was public information and was available to find for everybody. I am the frontman of a death metal band. I am not computer literate. I barely know how microwave works. So there was no sneaky hacking tactics involved to get any of that info. It was all right there. No one had just put it all together before. I'd also assume that Tolminator asked us to play not just because I exposed Metal Days, but because of our awesome music and my charming personality. In Metal Days' very last Facebook post that's now deleted, Little Bo Prick claimed that the sole reason I made those videos was so my band would be rewarded with playing Tolminator. He claimed to have, quote, exposed this. Oh, however did you dig up that deep-seated knowledge barrel, bitch? Did you maybe discover that my band was playing Tolminator by me promoting it in all of my videos? However did you uncover this deep hidden secret knowledge, Inspector Gadget? I was not instructed by anyone to say anything, but what did happen after I made my videos is I had a lot of people who were former colleagues and business partners of Little Bo's reach out to me saying how they were so glad to see someone exposing him, and that the details were much more bizarrely batshit than I even imagined. I had members of prominent bands and very big booking agents contact me saying Metal Days didn't pay them in 2023. I had random anonymous people I didn't know at all send me public financial documents in Slovenian showing that Little Bo had not only gotten state aid for COVID and for the flood, but that he'd been shuffling money around through various companies of his for years, underreporting profits and using tax loopholes. I had people who had been creating their own festival and partnered with Metal Days for promotional purposes, only to have the festival stolen and shut down from underneath them by Little Bo. Tell me about that happening. Lots of birdies started singing their songs to me as soon as I started trickling the truth out. Anyway, Metal Days 2023 did happen in Villain. It looked like it sucked, it was severely undersold, and it also got hit by a huge flood on the last day. Of course, Bobbane used the flood as an excuse to keep all kinds of money, but the truth is that they were also struggling with their Zanzibar resort at this time. At the very least, they got ripped off by some construction company out there, which is hilarious. After the festival, they announced bands for the 2024 edition with a pretty solid lineup and put tickets on sale. They told everyone how they couldn't wait for 2024. On January 25th of 2024, they made this post promoting the festival, still selling tickets and saying how excited they were, and then 4 days later, they made a statement declaring Metal Days 2024 was officially postponed. Wow, that was a quick change. The statement read that they decided to postpone this year so that they could focus on doing the festival right in 2025, and that all tickets sold for 2024 would be honored for Metal Days 2025. No mention of refunds. Then they promised some smaller, more local bands that they would be on the lineup for 2025, and now... So that's my side of the story. It is truly up to you to decide who to believe. But if you'd like to see more of my evidence, you can find it all in the playlist I made on this channel called the Metal Days Files. Have fun diving down that rabbit hole. If anyone needs any evidence for court reasons, feel free to use it. So that is the end of the Metal Days saga. We did it! The allied forces of the Metal Empire, led by the savior of metal, have liberated Slovenia from the scumbaggery of the bumbling shit stain. The story of Metal Days is finally over, and while many refunds never got returned, which is bullshit, I'm at least glad that Little Bo Prick's reputation has been completely ruined and that Metal Days won't sucker any more headbangers out of their hard-earned cash. I'm also thrilled to report that their plans for a big vegan spa resort thing out in Zanzibar didn't quite work out, as they're now stuck living there, using it as an Airbnb that isn't selling. Well... it's been swell. I hope you all had fun on this journey of dipshittery. I know I did. Major shout out to everyone who did speak up about Metal Days and Little Bo's bullshit. You are all truly the heroes of metal. Congratulations on preventing this from continuing. As for you, Little Bo Prick, and your bitch wife, I would say that I'm going to miss you, but unlike you two, I'm not full of shit. But I do have a very special song I would like to dedicate to the situation, and with that, Little Bo Boo, I bid you adieu. This song is for you.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
For more from me, check out my band Dark Insanity on Instagram, here on the channel, and now on all streaming platforms. We just released our debut EP, Rabid Psychosis, now available. You can find us on Spotify, on iTunes, on Apple Music, on OnlyFans, we're everywhere. If you want more of me making fun of stuff, you can check out my podcast I do every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, where you can hang out with me live, ask whatever questions you want, and make fun of whatever's going on in the metal world. And I've started doing game streams on Sundays at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'm starting with the most metal game of all, Brutal Legends. So join me live on Sundays to have fun killing some pixels. Subscribe to my second channel, Why It's Metal Podcast Clips, where I'll be uploading segments from my live podcast and podcasts that I do guest appearances on. We've got merch available for the channel and for the band. Now you can get Why It's Metal t-shirts, Savior of Metal hats, Dark Insanity t-shirts, Dark Insanity weed bags. We've got everything. Links for all of my stuff can be found in the description of this video. Anyway, that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.